In the previous episode, we've looked at a universe astronomers are now putting forward, which is completely different to what they've been confidently telling you about for years. Should we be surprised that their mathematical fiction universe is falling apart? And where did that mathematical universe come from anyway? Well, there was a time when Western civilization grew up in what was then known as Christendom. It was a civilization which was founded on the Bible, which was accepted as the Word of God. That civilization accepted that the universe was created about 6,000 years ago. The Earth was at the centre of that universe. But then some clever people decided that they knew better. These clever people put forward some very dodgy reasoning to claim that the Sun was the centre of the universe. The Earth orbited around it. A talented astronomer called Tycho Brahe built an observatory where he could take measurements 10 times more accurately than any astronomer before him. He said that his observations showed the Earth to be at the centre of the universe. That idea was generally accepted by the majority of people until a group of secular humanist intellectuals, widely known as the Enlightenment, arose. They considered man's reason the ultimate arbiter of truth, rejected the Bible's authority, and scoffed at everything it said. They accepted the Sun as the centre of the universe. The Earth and the universe were millions of years old. And Darwin's story of evolution was established fact. With the Sun at the centre of the universe, our brilliantly enlightened astronomers decided they could use stellar parallax to measure the heavens. Jeremiah 31:37 guarantees the heavens will never be measured. But the geniuses of the Enlightenment confidently concluded that the nearest stars must be about 5 light years away. Most of the stars must be much further away. 5 light years is the distance that light can travel in 5 years. That's about 30 trillion miles, or 47 trillion kilometres. Of course, if the Earth is at the centre, then those stars must be vastly nearer. But our brilliantly enlightened astronomers scoff at such a possibility. In 1920, 2 of America's top astronomers, Harlow Shapley and Heber Curtis, had a very well-publicised debate on whether the universe consisted of one galaxy or several. Within a short time, most astronomers opted for several galaxies, not just one. They reasoned that neither the Sun nor the Earth could be at the centre. Vesto Slipher found that faint and presumably far distant astronomical objects had red-shifted lines in their spectrum. Edwin Hubble looked at many such objects and concluded that the more distant a galaxy in any direction, the greater its redshift. A Belgian priest, Georges Lemaitre, proposed that this was because the distant galaxies are moving away from us more quickly than the nearer ones, an idea known as the Doppler effect. Hubble thought that was a silly idea and suggested we need to look for a more likely cause of the redshifts. But our brilliant Enlightenment astronomers opted for the Doppler effect, and the Big Bang was crowned king of astronomical theories. It so dominated the thinking of astronomers that it soon became an established fact. They came up with the graph of redshift against distance. Now they had a measuring rod for the whole universe. Their distances were calibrated against parallax observations, assuming the Sun to be the central body of the universe. They were so confident they'd got the whole story sorted out that redshift distance measurement became the central procedure of astronomy, even though the idea of the Sun being the centre of everything except the solar system was being pushed out. By this time, Einstein's general theory of relativity, framed in terms of Minkowski's mathematical space-time, with dimensions of length, breadth, height and imaginary time multiplied by the speed of light, had become the central truth of astronomy. Very few astronomers claimed to understand it. But William Tift found that those redshifts did not increase steadily. They rose in steps. This is obviously not compatible with the Doppler effect. Halton Arp showed his observations didn't fit with the Doppler effect either. The rulers of the Enlightenment didn't want to know. Arp was kicked out in disgrace. When an Enlightenment devotee has a bee in his bonnet, then it must be the real McCoy. Redshifts are still the central idea of astronomy. But with so many wrong assumptions, astronomy headed into the wilderness at ever-increasing speed. When radiation from the waters above were detected, our Enlightenment geniuses hit on the idea that it must be the echo of the Big Bang. But to make that anything close to a credible explanation, they had to have their Big Bang suddenly inflating, billions of times faster than the speed of light, and then suddenly slowing down to less than the speed of light. Then they found that their theories gave impossible speeds for galaxies. So they had to invent invisible, undetectable, dark matter to make things work. Then they found that their theories gave impossible speeds of universal expansion and had to invent invisible, undetectable, dark energy. And then the James Webb Telescope was put into space, and the rest of their story started to fall apart at astounding speed. Last time we found that the astronomers, amazed by look-alike galaxies, apparently just like ones we see now, but they should not be at the distances their redshifts say they are. They told us they seem to be reflections, possibly from a twin universe. Well, that sounds like what we would have expected from episode 49's Biblical Astronomy model. The latest observations from James Webb are just as problematic for the Enlightenment universe. And the Enlightenment experts are having to bring in even more horrifying possibilities, like the universe built on Einstein's relativity being wrong.
Get ready for a discovery that is turning our understanding of the universe upside down. These findings are so unexpected that many renowned scientists now believe something big is on the horizon, something our current understanding of the universe is simply not prepared for. With each new discovery, Webb is revealing that the cosmos may be far more complex and mysterious than we ever imagined. Recently, Scientists analyzed 30,000 early galaxies detected by Webb and found something extremely strange that doesn't fit into our current understanding of cosmic evolution. But that's not all. Webb also studied 20,000 more early galaxies, and the results were just as baffling. This massive study suggests that what scientists once believed to be the expansion of the universe might actually be something completely different, or even an illusion. Because of these shocking discoveries, many scientists are now seriously questioning, could we be standing on the edge of a scientific breakthrough that changes everything we know about the universe? Could it be that the Big Bang is not the real answer to the origin of everything? So, what exactly did the Webb telescope find in the early universe, and why scientists believe this is the end of the Big Bang theory? Recently, scientists published a new paper in Nature Astronomy in which they reported that deep observations from the James Webb Space Telescope have revealed an exceptionally large galaxy in the early universe. It's a cosmic giant whose light has traveled over 12 billion years to reach us. Scientists have named it the Big Wheel. This giant disk galaxy existed within the first 2 billion years after the Big Bang, meaning it formed when the universe was just 15% of its current age. It challenges what we know about how galaxies form. The detailed Webb telescope observations show that the Big Wheel is comparable in size and rotational speed to the largest superspiral galaxies in today's universe. It is 3 times as big in size as comparable galaxies at that epoch and is one of the most massive galaxies observed in the early cosmos. According to our current standard cosmological model, galaxies in this era of cosmic history should appear less structured, smaller, and lacking a well-defined shape. However, this particular galaxy has defied expectations, emerging as a remarkable anomaly in the early universe. Well, this is not the only massive and well-developed galaxy that the Webb Space Telescope has identified from this early period. Multiple such galaxies have already been discovered. But what makes this galaxy even more amazing than other galaxies is that this galaxy stands out as the largest among all the early galaxies observed so far. But wait, some more recent Webb telescope discoveries have found even more bizarre phenomena in the early universe. New discoveries from the Webb telescope have revealed a terrifying new fact about dark energy. This early-stage finding is at odds with the current theory, which was developed in part by Albert Einstein.
30 years ago, the Pioneer anomaly showed very clearly that the speed of light increases with distance from the Earth, an idea obviously compatible with Maxwell's well-verified equations, but not with Einstein's speculations.
More data is needed to confirm these results, but even some of the most cautious and respected researchers involved in the study being swept up by the mounting evidence. The discovery of dark energy in 1998 was in itself shocking. Up until then, the view had been that after the Big Bang, which created the universe, its expansion would slow down under the force of gravity. But observations by US and Australian scientists found that it was actually speeding up. They had no idea what the force driving this was, so they gave it a name signifying their lack of understanding: dark energy. Although we don't know what dark energy is, astronomers can measure it, and whether it is changing by observing the acceleration of galaxies away from each other at different points in the history of the universe. Last year, when dark energy spectroscopy instrument researchers found hints that the force exerted by dark energy had changed over time, many scientists thought that it was a blip in the data which would go away. But after more than a year of observations, scientists have now confirmed that dark energy is actually behaving much more strangely than we thought. If this research holds, it would challenge the assumption that all parts of the universe share the same cosmic timeline, because it could alter the local rate of cosmic evolution. Some regions might have undergone accelerated expansion earlier or later than others, affecting how we calculate their apparent age. However, to explain all these mysteries, scientists have recently proposed a new model of the universe named timescape cosmology. In this model, scientists highlight the significant influence of massive cosmic voids and structures on the nature of time. In this new cosmological model, scientists have revealed that the expansion of our universe is not driven by dark energy, but is an illusion created by time. They propose that time flows slower in regions of space where the concentration of matter is higher. For instance, an atomic clock situated within a galaxy might tick up to a third slower, compared to an identical clock positioned in the middle of a vast empty void. Now think about this over the vast time scale of the universe. The universe is about 13.8 billion years old, but in regions with little matter, like cosmic voids, time has been passing faster. So billions of additional years may have passed in these voids compared to the matter-rich regions. This means that the universe doesn't have a single unified age as we often imagine. Instead, the age of the universe could vary depending on where you are. The age of the universe may be greater in the cosmic void than in a denser region of space. Here's where it gets even more fascinating. Since so much more time has passed in the voids, these regions have experienced more cosmological expansion. In simple terms, the universe has been stretching more in these less dense areas. If you're looking at an object on the far side of a void, it would appear to be moving away from you much faster than an object on the near side of the void. This is because the space within the void has expanded more over time. Now imagine this effect across the entire universe. Over time, the voids become a larger and larger part of the cosmos because they are expanding more rapidly. As a result, when we observe the universe, it creates the illusion that the overall expansion is accelerating.
They're also having to accept the laws of science being different at different places in the universe, and the age of the universe being different at different places in the universe. I find it astounding that clever people can convince themselves that such utterly ludicrous ideas can be taken seriously. But the Bible's simple, reasonable, and intelligible information must be ridiculed and rejected. Oh, the depth of the riches both of the wisdom and knowledge of God! How unsearchable are his judgments, and his ways past finding out. Thank you for joining me for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and press the bell so that you'll be notified as I release new movies. If you'd like to support this project, you're welcome to do so through Patreon. Find a link on my channel banner and in the description below.